You already know that a passport is a travel document which is issued by the government of that country for the citizens. It is like a certificate that certifies the holder's identity and nationality primarily for international travel purposes. If you want to cross the border and explore the world, a passport is the first item you should have. Hello viewers, have you ever thought about your passport? How or why was it invented? This video will give you all the answers. Human beings have always been territorial like many other organisms, and many of our ancient ancestors did not take it too kindly when outsiders invaded their land. So, they decided to have a system so that you cannot just walk right your way into unfamiliar territory and make it your own. Because migration has never smoothed then, the migrants had only two ways: kill or get killed. Violence against these new migrants was not even treated as a criminal offense. From the Hebrew Bible, we can know about a paperwork that served a similar role as passport. Chapter 2, verses 7 to 9, Nehemiah, approximately 450 BC, there was an official named Nehemiah who served King Artaxerxes I of Persia. Once Nehemiah asked permission to travel to Judea, the king granted his prayer and gave him a letter to the governors beyond the river for his safe traveling across the river. After that, England's King Henry invented the idea of self-identification, what some consider to be the first passport in the modern sense. He invented it to help his subjects prove who they were when traveling in foreign countries. The earliest reference to those records can be found in a Parliament Act of 1414. In 1540, it became a function for the Privy Council of England to issue travel documents in England, and it was around this time that the word passport was used. The concept of modern passports was introduced in Europe in 1914, at the beginning of the First World War, when all countries began to consider the citizens of other countries as a possible security risk. Previously, people were traveling using only personal documents, and there is no way to know the previous movements of anybody. The conventional passports are called handwritten passports, but those are not valid today. According to the International Civil Aviation Organization, or ICAO, those parts were valid until 24th November 2015. After that, the era of machine-readable passport began, which made the immigration process easier and more secure. Now, e-passport has been introduced that will make immigration much easier. Passports are required for living persons to travel from one place to another. But do you know that a person who died thousands of years ago needed a passport? Yes! And that is none other but the mummy of Ramses II. The Egyptian government gave Ramses II a passport, and he was the only mummy to obtain one. His passport also consists of his picture as well as his occupation, king or deceased. This passport required in 1976 when the mummy was sent to the Paris Le Bourget in France. If you have any intention to tattoo your face, do it before applying for a passport, because you will be required to change the photo on the passport if you had a plain face while applying for a passport and you choose to have a facial tattoo a couple of years later. And that will cost you some extra money, because passports are not free. In early times, you could even use family photos, but now it is not acceptable. You also cannot be photographed in any type of uniform or hat or anything that cover your face, not even your long hair. Only military or law enforcement officers are allowed to wear uniforms while taking pictures for passports. There are mainly three types of passports. 1. Regular passport issued for the normal citizens of a country. 2. Official passports issued for the government employees. 3. Diplomatic passport issued for the foreign service officers who had traveled for diplomatic purposes. Mainly, passports come in 4 colors: red, blue, black, and green. Among them, red is the most popular. Did you know that passports have powers? Not like Superman or Spider-Man, but they have power indeed. A Japanese passport promises to travel uncomplicatedly to another 191 countries and territories, and for this, it is now the most powerful passport in the world. Singapore is in second position, having access to 189 countries. So our good people, if you still don't take your passport, go and get it and travel around the world and witness the beauty of it with keeping an eye at your passport.